Today I'm going to be upgrading those regular meatballs to a smash meatball melt. Let's go. So I'm going to add about half a pound of ground beef. This is an 80/20. And I've got a couple of sausages. These are Italian sausage. And I'm just going to take the casing off, cut a slit into it, and just peel the casing off of it. And I'm just going to break that up in there. Get a little bit of salt, black pepper, about a teaspoon of garlic, some chopped onion. Now you can cook the onion first if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It'll work either way in this recipe. For some moisture, I'm going to add a little bit of regatta. This is whole milk regatta, so it's not too watery. It's nice and thick, so maybe 2 tablespoons of it. We have 1 egg, little oregano, some basil, worcestershire sauce. Get a couple of dabs in there, kind of mix it up just to get things going. I'm gonna grate up pecorino romano, grate that up in there, maybe a tablespoon or so of it. And also some Parmigiano Reggiano. Get the good stuff for this. Your meatballs will thank you. And some Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. Now you can also use some bread, some stale bread. You can soak it in some milk. I've seen that done too. That's great. It keeps the moisture in there. I've got the regatta in there for this recipe. I also want to add a little bit of olive oil in there. Make sure that everything gets mixed up. All right, so I'm going to start forming the meatballs now. I'm going to use a ice cream scoop. You don't have to, you can do it by hand. I just think it makes it more uniform, easier to size up. Okay, so just going to keep making them here. Probably going to get maybe about 10 meatballs out of this, so you can make plenty of sandwiches. So I'm going to let these sit and just kind of absorb some of those flavors. In the meantime, I'm going to get that marinara sauce going on the stovetop. I'm going to get a little bit of butter in there, a little bit of olive oil, some onion, some garlic. So we're just going to saute the onions and the garlic. Just get that, not brown, but just translucent. Tomato paste, maybe a teaspoon of it. Some oregano, salt, pepper. All right, so now the onions are softening a little bit. They're getting a little bit translucent here. The garlic is working. I can smell that. The paste, I can smell that tomato. 1 can of diced tomatoes. About a cup of tomato sauce. A nice gentle stir. And add just a little bit more salt to that. The tomatoes are unsalted. And some more pepper. Mix, and we're going to let that cook for about 15-20 minutes. Let that boil, bring it down to a simmer. I'm going to get these meatballs in the preheated air fryer, which I preheated at about 350 for about 10 minutes. And I brushed the base with a little bit of olive oil. And all I want to do is cook these enough to get a little bit of a crust on them. Brush them with a little bit of olive oil on the top so I can get a nice crust going. So 350 for about 10 minutes. And we might have to rotate them about 5 minutes in just to make sure we get the crust all the way around. So the meatballs are done. I raised the temperature to 400 degrees for a couple more minutes just to get a nice crust. And if you can see the crust on these, it's a nice dark crust. And I did flip them about halfway through. So we're gonna get these on a dish. And these meatballs are not fully cooked yet. Okay, so I've got the marinara sauce. Just kind of simmering away here, so it's reduced a little bit. Some of the water's gone, so it thickened up nicely. So now I'm just going to get some fresh basil. We're going to let it cool off a little bit, put that to the side. I'm going to get this white bread here. It's a little heartier than regular Wonder Bread. And I'm going to get mayonnaise on it. Now you can use butter, you can use oil. I'm going to use mayonnaise, and I'm just going to spread that out just on one side. We're not going to do both sides because the cheese is going to be on the other side. Okay, and I got the griddle on the stovetop. Get it nice and hot. Get that first one on there. Mayonnaise side down. Once that side is toasted, I'm going to get the meatballs in there. We're going to smash them. All right, so let's take a look at the bread. It should be pretty toasted. Perfect, look at that. Let's put the meatballs on there. So before I do that, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of olive oil. Meatballs on there. And we're just going to do a couple right now. I'm going to take my smasher. It's only going to be a couple of minutes. Give it a little bit more pressure here just so we can get a nice crust. Beautiful. Nice. So we're gonna just flip these over. We're gonna get some cheese. This is mozzarella sliced cheese on there. All right, so I've got these done now. Put them on a plate. Let's start making our sandwiches here. I'm gonna grab 2 of these meatballs, and it's all right if they break apart. Okay, I'm gonna get that on one half of the bread. Get this one here on the other. And now let's get some of this marinara sauce on there. We don't want to put too much and make it too soggy, but we do want to get a nice amount on there. And let's not forget our grated cheese. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of Romano and of course some Parmigiano Reggiano. Like that. Give it a little squish, a little press. So let's just go with the angle cut. Now that's an upgraded meatball.